Welcome back to Askamy. I have a question today from Esmee. She says, I'm from Belgium. I just came across your page while searching for information about the three principles. 3 years ago, I became a mother for the first time. About 4 months after giving birth, I suddenly started experiencing all kinds of health-related anxieties. After 2 years, I was more or less able to manage them. Around 4 weeks ago, I became a mother for the second time. I noticed that I'm struggling, and at times the anxiety comes back even stronger. The physical sensations cause me so much fear. I feel like I can't breathe properly, and it makes me panic. I feel lightheaded and scared that I might faint. So I have a lot of resources on anxiety, health anxiety, that I want to hook you up with. Like, there's just a lot of stuff that you can kind of start to immerse in, because it sounds like this is all pretty new to you. Not the experience, but this way of kind of seeing things. And so I'll send you some stuff, but just in kind of first reading this, and thinking like, what, for someone who this just feels scary and real, like a potential health issue, and maybe isn't used to, kind of looking at it through this lens, what could be most helpful? And, I guess one thing I want to say right off the bat to you is to just like, because you say it, you have a sense that there's something you were doing, or it felt like you were doing, to manage this for a while. Of course, that runs its course. Like, experience is not really manageable. We aren't actually managing it. We don't really need to manage it. And that's where the real freedom comes in. So say, in your case, you're feeling some sensations, and maybe your breathing is a bit different and you feel lightheaded. And then there's all the thinking that comes in, and the fear, and the resisting it, and the trying to figure out what's going on. And then the attempts to manage. And that's all very normal. That's how it goes in our minds. But what I want you to see in that is again, as scary as that is, and as real as it feels in the moment, there is nothing to manage, because there's nothing actually going wrong. There's some breathing that is, again, maybe not, it's not abnormal, but not like it was 5 minutes ago. Let's say you notice some sped up breathing or whatever. You notice some lightheadedness. Like, these are all things that also happen when you walk outside and it's really hot, or when you exercise, or when you're chasing your kids around, or when you read a scary book or watch a scary movie. These are not dangerous things. So what's happening at the physical, sensational level for you, just look in this direction and see if you can get a feel for how true this is, that those are not dangerous things. What's happening is your mind is coming in telling a really big, scary story about what they mean. And that story is not true. That's the anxiety. That's what anxiety is. It's a fear. It's an irrational fear of something that's not dangerous. But we believe the fear, and then we start pushing and resisting because we're believing the fear, and then it just spirals. Now, the good news is that even in that spiral, the spiral stops. And you've noticed that a ton, I'm sure, many, many times. You can be really caught up in something, and then time goes on, thought changes, things relax, and it's done. And there was no health issue, and there was no problem that needed to be solved in that minute. And the feelings didn't go away because the problem was solved. There wasn't a problem. The feelings went away because the thinking changed, and feelings go away. And just that is so good to see. Thought and feeling, they come and go completely on their own. They don't need managing. It's impossible to manage them. And trying to manage them, just makes it feel like there's even more of a problem. It just kind of reinforces that. So what's happening physically? Now, again, I don't want to dismiss the fact that it feels scary and like there's a problem and there's a layer of panic on top of it. But what's happening physically is not really a problem. It's okay. It's also a body that goes up and down, that sometimes breathing, is faster, sometimes it's slower, sometimes we feel lightheaded. All of that is very normal for a human body. And as we relax, it all kind of comes back into balance. That's just how that goes. So So first see that, that there's no health issue. And I think you see that on some level. That doesn't mean we don't still get afraid when the health stuff comes in, but you do see that because you're asking a question about health anxiety. So you're seeing that it's the anxiety is the piece of that we really want to focus on. Your health is okay. As far as we know, these issues you're describing, they're normal things that a body just goes through and then rebalances and moves on. So again, the body's going to do the stuff, but what the problem is, or where the suffering comes in, this isn't a problem either, but where the suffering comes in is the interpretation. The interpretation that this is wrong, this shouldn't be happening, I need to do something to fix this. So I want you to get really, and this is just a first step, I'm going to send you some resources, but I want you to get really attuned to watching thought come in and do that. Say you're breathing a little faster and you watch thought. It's just a thought. You're not doing it. You're not making that thought show up. Thoughts just show up. They come and they go. You're watching that thought come in and say, oh no, not this again. What should I do? What's going to happen? How long will it last? All the things thought says. That, believing that is kind of where the suffering is. So can you see that that's also just something that comes and goes? That's also just part of this thing. Sometimes your heart beats faster, your breathing gets shallow, and sometimes those thoughts come in to interpret it that way. The thoughts aren't true. Again, when all of this settles down, everything just goes right back into balance. There's no problem. It all just recalibrates, just gets right back into balance completely on its own. So the only problem, or what feels like a problem, is that when this stuff comes up, it's just taken very seriously. It just feels really, really real and scary. And then when it does, of course, we jump into all of these coping mechanisms, which kind of reinforce that there's a problem there, and they don't actually really do anything. They don't do anything because we don't need them to do anything. The managing of experience doesn't really work, but that's good news because we don't need it to. We don't need to manage experience. Experience comes and goes completely on its own and effortlessly and seamlessly, easily, when we aren't in there kind of fighting with it a little bit. So I could say a lot more, but I won't right now. I hope that gives you just a starting point, like a place to kind of look and to get curious. And again, I'm going to send you some stuff. And if anyone else feels like you need resources around anxiety or health anxiety, I have a ton of them. So please reach out and we can hook you up with some stuff. But I hope that helps, Esmee. And congratulations on your new baby. And just know, it's really normal. It's really normal when there's been a lot going on physically and hormonally. The mind gets a little busy, you're tired, you're sleep deprived. It's a phase and it happens and it's okay. It's just a little faster energy coming through, but it's totally safe. It's nothing to try to manage. It's nothing to fight against or resist. Everything always kind of ends up balancing itself out because that's just the nature of things. So thanks for sending your question. You can send your questions to askamy@thelittleschoolofbigchange, and I will see you back here next week.